If you've ever played the classic Doom games from the 90s, also known as the time before yours truly was ever born, also known as anyone approaching a midlife crisis, you'll like this game. That's it. Go buy Compound. It's on the Quest 2, you have no reason not to play it. But for the rest of us Zoomers watching, Doom was basically what started it all in terms of FPS games. That's right, you mall Fortnite t-shirt kid. If Doom didn't exist, you most likely wouldn't be watching Ninja before you reached puberty.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Now me personally, I really like the graphics of the original Doom. Yeah, the new games have pretty amazing graphics with their blood and gore, but something about this classic style of graphics due to technical limitation at the time, it still has that certain aesthetic that I just really enjoy. Now basically take all of that, wrap it around your forehead, and you have Compound. Compound is basically classic Doom, but in the metaverse, making people like me, who definitely had friends in high school, I promise. Compound makes the retro gamer in me smile a little bit, and I would be safe to assume it would probably make a lot of you smile too. It even features the same style of gloves from the Doom games, this time with your hands being held together by silly string and some rubber gloves. Compound has that really cool mechanic called being a roguelite shooter, where you can do this really cool thing called die and restart every time a little fucking armored turret won't stop jumping on you, like a sewer rat seeing its 15th pile of trash for the day. Compound is basically the equivalent of playing Minecraft without keep inventory on. Compound is like having a really nice meal, but your little fucking dipshit dog won't stop trying to reach up on the table and eat everything. So let's get into the thick of it. What does Compound sell to us that makes my 30-year-old Reddit mod, old games were just better, rave so much about it? First of all, Compound takes all of its problem solving the American way by putting guns at every corner in the local Walmart. What do you mean I'm not allowed in the Walmart? The weapons in this game are more satisfying than scamming a 12-year-old out of his mom's credit card. You obviously have the basic weapons you'd see in every FPS game, the assault rifle, the shotgun, the gun you bring into the third period class of the day. But you also have the weapons that don't typically make it into normal FPS games. You have things like the railgun, which hearing the name immediately makes me think of the railgun from Half-Life 2, which is the sequel to Half-Life, which is made using the Gold Source engine, which is just a mod of the Quake engine, which I just like to circle that back to the original Doom, and this is known as the Circle of Life. Also featuring a standalone grenade launcher, which you don't typically see just by itself anymore, the typical SMG, which has more spray than a splash potion of weakness, and finally the revolver, which has to be unlocked so we don't have 50 million TikTok kids from Pavlov asking if we want to play Russian roulette. I'm obviously skipping over a lot of weapons here, even glossing over the LMG you have to unlock once you win 100% the game, but as you can see, I'm not exactly there yet, so give me some time. But these weapons ain't shit. Listen up, if you're not playing Compound on the hardest difficulty, using what is in my opinion to be the worst gun in the game, you're not a real gamer. Alright, give me back your G Fuel, you're banned from VR now. Jokes aside, each weapon in Compound is just as satisfying to use as the next. My only gripe with the current system is that I feel like I need to hold on to the beginning pistol throughout the entire game, which I know is more of just a strategy than saying something is wrong with the game, but I just feel like there should be a reason to give up the pistol. Maybe a nerf or something, because you can basically cheese the entire enemy lineup if you're a good enough aim. All it takes is a well-placed headshot or lens shot depending on the enemy, robot lives matter, and you're pretty much golden the entire run. Maybe just give it a nerf to where you're only given a percentage to hit a critical shot instead of just aiming somewhat good. If aiming is the key to killing the enemies in the game, then we should definitely talk about them. Enemies are like going to a distant family reunion on a summer vacation. First of all, we have the basic armed guards, also known as lesser blues according to the game's wiki. These guys are like that one uncle who got mixed into the wrong crowd in high school and can't remember your name despite it being almost 20 years. These guys aren't your typical type to just walk around, they're more of a basic automated baseball pitching machine. Next up, we have the elite blues, which if these lesser blues were the brain dead uncle who can't remember your name, the elite blues are the alcoholics addicted to Coors Light and can't go an hour without one. Except in this situation, you're the Coors Light here. Elite blues will patrol the area and will obviously defend their area if they see you. You have a variety of drones, which are like your stupid Aunt Kathy who won't stop pressuring you about school for 1 second. Kathys come in a variety of colors, like flying and shooting, but they have a drink, an energy drink beforehand, and flying and shooting with a little extra spice. To keep things still fresh if you decide to play it, I'll just cover the small amount of bosses I've encountered so far in the game. Obviously, we have the Giga Chad, Booster Bruce swooping in like the Tears of Kingdom announcement not being announced in the UK for grieving reasons. This guy will fly around and overall not be too friendly on the eyes if you get what I'm saying. The Accountant is like if Oscar or Angela from The Office went on a postal-like rampage throughout Dunder Mifflin. They have a shield and can shoot really fast, and that's the end of the enemy types. Go play the game. Locations for Compound are summed up in the same amount of words I can describe beating Boneworks without shooting. Annoying, but really enjoyable nonetheless. Compound, in my opinion, has some amazing level design that really embraces that 90s aesthetic the game is going for. But holy shit do the harder levels get hard. To touch over these lightly and not go as in-depth as a Half-Life lore story guide, the main areas you'll most likely be familiar with early on are the sewers, which has 2 zones you have to complete, and get used to that because all of them have 2 zones. The sewers have the lesser blues as previously mentioned, and is overall not too hard to get through. Reception and sales is isn't for your typical Jim and Pam office worker. It's home to blue, pink, and red guards, and also the cool little drones that have shields that aren't at all taking inspiration towards headcrabs. This is where you get what the story is about, kind of, but this level is home to the not too friendly Booster Bruce and can generally be a pain. Profit management is the area for the boss, the accountant, which is more annoying than trying to find a Pavlov match when every 12-year-old isn't at school, and the area I keep dying on the most when I'm playing on medium difficulty. Skipping past a few levels like your mom skips on my high value individual, which is the final level of the game and is the only level to have one zone. This is where we get to the storyline, if you would even consider it to be one. You start off as a disgruntled person in the sewers working for a vaccine company. Hold on, don't get too political in the comments, and fight your way through each level of the company to get towards the boss. And with the final level housing the final boss, only known as the CEO, this is where the game concludes, with each difficulty giving you a different ending. Now hold on, Viewie, you said to play this game and now we know the ending? You know how much stuff I skipped over in this video? Too many things to count. I skipped like 50% of the enemies, didn't touch mutations, and most importantly, the story is kinda weak, and I'm not gonna lie, I would rather play Boneworks story mode again. But none of that matters, because Compound VR not only gives off a retro 90s aesthetic, but it definitely treats your hard drive like it, because this game is tiny. And when I say tiny, I mean it's smaller than Minecraft. I mean, it's even smaller than Brawlhalla, which if you didn't know, Brawlhalla is only about 800 megabytes. That's right, a 2D fighting game with nothing really challenging going on with graphics is bigger in size than Compound, which only takes up about 400 megabytes of disk space, not even half a gigabyte. You should definitely play Compound. It's one of the best VR games you could buy.